For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to episode 76 of That's a Shame. I'm Isaac, I'm in London, and I'm joined by someone who just isn't in any sense of the term, spiritually.
Not in even one.
No, or geographically. Who are you and where are you?
I am Declan, and I'm here on a very, very low sofa.
Good.
At an even lower table, leaning into my mic like some sort of crazed Alex Jones spin-off. I'm in Budapest.
Oh, lovely. Living the Hungarian dream.
I am.
Good.
I tell you what, life here is mental. Well, we'll come to that.
Okay.
I wanted to say something, like, first of all, about Budapest, which is
Go on.
how to say it.
Is it very different from what one expects?
Well, no. Well, it's not that I've been schooled over here or anything, but it's that it's one of these places people like to say very differently.
Okay.
Like,
I would just go with Budapest, probably. I think my emphasis would be like Budapest. It's like a descending thing, rather than Budapest. But I don't know why.
But, even outside of the cadence of it, some people say Budapest.
Uh-huh.
Some people
I've heard a lot of Pest as well.
Pest is the other one as well.
Yeah, heard
in a
whole bunch of Pest.
Yeah, an absolute barrel of Pest. And so every time I end up saying it, it's some weird amorphous conglomerate of all of them. I'm like, Budapest. I sound like I'm saying it backwards, man.
In Twin Peaks.
Budapest.
Agent Cooper. Horrible. So how do the locals say it? Have you not done any research into
that's
that?
the thing. None of them have said it to me.
Oh, gosh.
Or
it's like that Impractical Jokers game where they're trying to get them to say spaghetti.
Exactly.
And it's surprisingly hard without saying it yourself.
The thing is that some speak English, which is very helpful, because Hungarian is an absurdly difficult language. And it
have you learned any?
No. Well, no. I know Kirek is please, and Köszönöm is thank you.
Okay.
That's the end of that.
Good. That's the end of our new feature. Declan teaches you 2 Hungarian words ever.
Budapest. We know that.
Except we don't.
But because it just has no kind of groundings in any of the other like Romance languages that you might know. Like I speak a bit of German, so if I go to any of the other, and that, let's not forget, yourself. And a few drops of early high school French. So if you go around most like Western European countries, you could get by, like you can guess at stuff. Like a lot of the words are very similar, but here I'm so lost.
That's good though. Is it like Lost in Translation? Have you met Bill Murray?
Well, lest we forget, that was a very sad film.
Yeah, well, that's what I look for in a holiday, is that kind of melancholy.
Existential crisis.
Overwhelming sadness and whiskey adverts.
But it's even one of the things that I picked up on yesterday that felt suspiciously absent was any knowledge even of prepositions.
Okay.
Because if you're trying to get the bus or something, or you're looking for, you don't know in or out, to or from, and you can't even guess because the two are so foreign in every literal and figurative sense that you're like, well, this could be anything. It says this, it looks like an exit, but who knows where I could be going? This could be Narnia through here.
Straight out of Budapest. Do not pass go. Do they play, or are they aware of, to your knowledge, that song called Budapest that was kind of non-stop played on Radio 1 for about a year and a half?
The George Ezra?
Yeah, the one that's...
Tell you what, no, because the only song that I've heard since I arrived in this fucking city is Ed Sheeran's Dancing in the Dark. It is everywhere.
Weird.
You would know it if you heard it.
I probably would.
I refuse to even sing a bar of it on this show.
Because you have too much respect for it.
No.
And for the artist.
No. Mostly because if I think of it any more than I already have, I will implode because it has been everywhere. Every shop I walk past, every restaurant we eat in, it is there. That's me around.
That was the first draft of the Police's song "Every Step You Take" that we just did. Every restaurant I eat in,
every shop I walk past.
Sting, this is not your best work. We loved that Walking Around the Moon shit. What about that fact that Sting wrote the song Walking on the Moon when he was really drunk in his hotel room at like 4 a.m. and he was just wandering, like marching around it, singing Walking Around My Room? Isn't that so funny? Giant steps are what I take, walking around my room. And it wasn't until like they'd already put a track down that they were like, yeah, so we're going to want to change that moon,
room bit.
Probably.
Yeah, Stings are going, you're right, walking round my moon. No, Sting, we'll stick to the general moon. We won't claim possession of it.
Sting would be all over claiming possession for the moon if I know him, and I do. Love you, chap. So you're having a good time on the whole?
Yes, on the whole, it's been quite nice.
Why don't you give us like a travel rundown, like it's a proper podcast that has a remit of vague educational transference?
Because we're not about that.
I know, but let's pretend.
Okay,
I'll put in a nice travel bed and you can tell us, like, now over to Declan with the Hungarian report.
Hi, guys. When you arrive at Budapest International Airport, one of the things that you might be struck by is the sheer volume of shit all over the walls of the toilets.
I did see that picture. That was unfortunate, wasn't it? Is that the goulash?
It was the first room that I went into in the whole country.
What, you make it sound like they usher you in as a test, like customs.
They were kind of just showing me how it's going to be. And I stared at it. But the thing is, so that was one cubicle. And then there was another one next to it. Thankfully, I needed neither. Mm-hmm. But while I was in there, a guy walked in, saw the one that I had shared on Twitter, and then went into the other one, looked at it, came out and closed the door, and he went, not that one either then. I just walked away. And I dared not look.
Did you feel like he thought you might have been the creator of what we'll call the great mess?
I don't think so, because I was at the urinal, so that would be a special kind of crime.
Wow.
To shit all over the cubicle and then just go for a piss outside.
Wow. That's fiddling while Rome burnt.
Yeah. That's a special kind of psychopath.
That is a really definite ticket to the clink. No questions. So yeah, that is a shame. Is that photo on our Twitter for people to look at if they, for some reason, just want to? But the magnitude is hard to capture. It's not your usual stained porcelain.
Oh no. It's what's impressive is that the bowl
is actually pristine.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah. And then the seat, it's just an absolute war zone. It was really nice because our ever faithful listener, Paul Shayeti Chandler, responded to the tweet with a kind of very optimistic, wasn't like that when I was there. It's a really lovely city. Like,
I do love the idea that it might have been, though. It's like a serial. It's someone who works at the airport. It's the pilot, the main pilot.
He gets off. It's his power trip.
Yeah,
He can't just own the skies. He has to own the land as well.
The rim.
Yeah. So I went from there, met up with Bryony because we'd been separated. Ryanair has this cool new feature where you have to pay £7 if you want to sit next to each other. So we didn't, and I was right at the front, and she was right at the middle, and you got off and got onto these buses. So I tried to wait outside a bus for her, but was kind of shoved on by the security, being like, "No, you can't wait on the platform on the runway.
Yeah,
you've got to get on." So I stood just inside the door of the bus, and then just as I saw Bryony stick her head round the door of the plane to come out, the doors slammed shut on my bus and drove away. I was like, oh, well, okay.
And so you've had separate holidays?
Yes, I've not seen
one of you in Buda, the other in Pest.
I'm at the Airbnb. God only knows where she is.
Some say she never got on that bus. So was the flight uneventful then?
Yes, very.
That's good, I suppose. That's what you want for a flight.
Apart from the fact that they forgot to turn off the no seatbelt sign. So after about an hour and a half, everyone was like,
we're still climbing,
dying for a piss, and people just getting up and queuing.
No wonder the guy went straight on the seat.
The air stewardess was like coming over the top, going, you shouldn't really be standing up. Yeah, the seatbelt sign's on, and then did that 2 or 3 times, and then apparently one of them like knocked on the pilot's door and went,
Oh,
the light's on. And he went, bing, straight away, just turned it off. So she looked a little foolish. Other than that, totally uneventful. Yeah.
That's good.
We got to go through for, I don't know, potentially the last time, the lovely EU-only queue. That was nice.
How was that? Yeah.
Beautiful.
Pang of nostalgia for what
I
was
sort of had a single tear rolling down my face.
from other Europe.
Thankfully, my passport photo is very sad, so
That's good, yeah.
preclude me. We got a cab from there to the Airbnb. I didn't actually know because I hadn't looked up where, in relation to everything, our Airbnb was. I just knew that he'd said it was central, and I'd believed
and
him.
that's never gone wrong for us before.
No.
Good track record.
But it turns out that we are almost literally like right in the centre, which was very nice. We're spitting distance from the Danube, which is very nice.
You haven't been spitting in the Danube, have you?
No, not even once.
Didn't see him on.
Brian and I went for a walk before dinner on the first night down to the road because there was a restaurant on the corner of the road that our building's on, and we went there and they said be about 15 minutes for a table. So we walked down the road to go and have a look out over the river, and it was all very nice and very beautiful, and there were like bats flying around and there were like lights and boats going past, and then we turned around to climb the stairs and there were two blokes pissing against the wall. Which was bold because it was only like 7:30. I'm not, I know when nature calls sometimes you must answer, but often at that time there are places to answer nature.
Yeah.
Though potentially they're all covered in shit. So.
True.
So we went for dinner. Now, this restaurant, we were going for convenience mainly because we were tired and it was our first night and we didn't really want to go out too much. And it seemed all fine. We went and sat down. People seemed to be having a good time there. Food smelt really nice. Some people had some really nice portions. The menus had a bit an English
that's good.
menu, which was very good because otherwise could have been ordering anything. Sadly, it didn't stop me just ordering anything.
You should have got that Google Translate app where you just hold it up and it translates what's in front of you.
I don't believe in that science, and I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it because I don't want to know that robots can do that.
What if they start doing it by inserting adverts? So instead of like steak and chips, it's like, try Uber. And then
They don't have Uber here.
Welcome for you. Do they not?
No, they banned it in 2016, we found out today.
Wow.
I know.
What a hero.
Lovely, but inconvenient.
Yeah.
So I was having a look and I thought I'd try something a little more out there. Something that I wouldn't normally try when I was at home. Now, I don't know if any of our listeners have ever had pork knuckle.
I've not.
Well, it's basically part of the leg of the pig.
Is it the knee?
No, it's not the knee. It's the bit above the trotter.
Right.
Right? And it's very nice. Like, it's quite tender and there's quite a bit of it. So I thought, well, they had veal knuckle. And I thought, bit fancier.
Yeah.
I'll go for it. So it was like battered veal knuckle. I had it with some chips. Thought, this is it. Here we go. Well, what arrived was the most horrific thing I have ever ventured to eat. It for me is, I think I can say, the only thing I have ever stopped eating because I felt sick.
Wow. Happy holidays.
It was such a catastrophic start to the holiday. Basically, what it was no meat.
Okay.
All it was the jelly from inside the hoof.
Oh, hoof jelly. I didn't even know there was jelly in a hoof.
Oh, you'd be surprised. There was a lot of, like, these were like fucking gold bullions that I had. There were 3 of them. And I ate one.
Wow.
Well, this is the thing, because there were sort of bits of meat
floating
in that one.
Suspended.
And I thought, oh, maybe there's more in the next. And I cut the next one open, and it was just all like.
Tell me what consistency we're talking about.
Oh, here. Well, I can tell you exactly.
Does it ooze?
It was basically just gristle.
Oh well, that's
huge.
at least it's at least a bit thicker than I was thinking.
Oh no! This is like it was
wet
solid,
gristle.
but it was like a slightly jellier version of like squid.
Oh,
But it was basically translucent.
sounds really like it ticks all the boxes for why I'm vegetarian.
I can't imagine anything that you would eat less.
Yeah, it really sounds like
perfectly-
my gastronomical nemesis. That is my Everest.
And I cut the second one open and I looked at it and I was like, I cannot. I had to physically turn it over so I could only see the batter because otherwise I was going to be ill everywhere.
Did you gnaw at that hoof batter or what?
I had no such gnawing.
Oh,
No gnawing at all.
wow. Must have been bad.
But the thing is it just totally, it ruined everything. I didn't want to eat.
Well, it would
thing.
ruin all eating again, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I don't think
I had a
you
nice-
should switch to Huel now.
I had a nice bit of like camembert
Oh, yeah.
on the side. I couldn't look at it.
That's
Chips,
just a kind of
couldn't
hoof
look at them.
jelly from a different part of the cow, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like milk jelly.
Exactly. So that was a real shame.
Yes, that does sound pretty dire. I have to
Thankfully,
say.
all of our culinary experiences since have been far superior.
Stick to McDonald's.
No, haven't been to McDonald's,
Good.
even though there is one nearby. Closes
Well done.
at 10. Imagine.
Wow.
Isn't that a
madness.
shame? Isn't that an error? It's weird. Like so many places are open 24/7. Like the castle grounds are open all day.
Right.
There's
Just
no-
in case you need to pop over for a quick bit
Yeah,
of
in
culture.
case it's 3 a.m. and you fancy having a little look round.
What's the castle like now?
I need to know.
Similar.
The city is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Although it's a slight shame because like they have this beautiful Parliament building.
Mm-hmm.
It's enormous. It's an incredible structure. It looks
Old,
sexy
is it?
as hell. Yeah.
Good.
And you sort of look at it and you go, wow, that's amazing. And then you remember that they just elected a far right party.
Oh,
And you think, oh. So as I sent to you, and as we can probably share on the Twitter, that there are posters. I mean, there are posters everywhere for an election that happened like a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, fair play to whoever put these up, because by everywhere, I mean every 10 yards,
They
there
covered
is
all bases.
another poster. Yeah, there's one on lampposts, on billboards, everywhere. But so many of them, I'd say one in every 8 or so is that poster I sent you.
The one where they're all looking differently bewildered.
Yeah.
They all look like some hoof jelly was just dropped on
Yeah,
them.
and it's George Soros with his arms around all of the left-wing candidates who've got bolt cutters that they've just used to like let in all the immigrants. And it's like, hey, don't
quite
vote for
subtle.
these guys. Yeah, exactly. It's like, don't vote for these guys. Vote for us, the far-right party. And let me tell you, they did.
Well done.
Because
Hell of a poster
on the drive down, because I've forgotten that Soros is Hungarian-American, because I've like wondered why on the drive through the city, there were every now and then one of the political posters would just have Soros in capital letters, like scribbled
angry
across
ones.
someone face.
Like the
And I was
Chiller
thinking,
font.
why is he so big here? But yeah, it turns out they fucking hate him.
Wow.
Interestingly, yesterday there was an enormous protest against this, like the far
good.
right party, which we somehow totally missed. Right, as in we were back here in the evening, and Bryony was on the Guardian app looking through, and she was like, "How did we miss this?" And I was like, "What's that?" And she said, "A 200,000 strong march to Parliament." Against the far right party. So we were in town all day.
I've got one pretty simple answer for you, and that is the 2 words false flag. It didn't happen. It's part of Soros's media army, obviously, like
Oh my God,
conjuring
yeah,
the
that's
narrative
it.
of, oh, there's a resistance. No, there's not. Everyone wants,
Tell you what, if
bolt
that-
cutters.
If that Peter Norway hears this podcast,
That'll be
he's
it.
got a scoop.
He's gonna go straight to the headlines with that one.
Yeah.
I expect.
So yeah, it's quite a weird ambience politically, because it doesn't, like, I suppose...
Doesn't seem racist.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It sounds like a silly thing to say, and especially when it's a language where I can't understand what anyone's saying. So they could be all around me going, Jesus Christ, what about the blacks, eh?
Yeah.
Glad
And
the government hates them.
Fucking ginger. I thought Soros didn't even like them.
So, but yeah, like everyone here seems nice enough, apart from the people who run the transport. But that's the same everywhere in the world. No one being kicked to death in the world. I had a typical Declan transport woe.
Oh, yeah.
That today we were heading down to the...
You're in the Hungarian equivalent of Roy Slip.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
We're actually in a place called District 13, which is sounds ominous, but...
that is the film, isn't it?
I think it's District 9, isn't it?
Oh, well, it's even worse. 4 worse.
We were off this morning to the Turkish baths.
Oh, is that a euphemism, though?
No, literal.
Okay.
Thankfully. We had to get a tram across the bridge and then a tram along the river. So we got a tram across the bridge. That was a faff because they'd closed half of it off for a marathon, despite the fact they'd had a marathon just one day before.
You can't have enough, though. That's the thing, isn't it? Got to remember that.
No, you're right.
Because Eddie Izzard's got to do something. If people aren't putting on a new marathon every day...
If people aren't voting him to the Labour Council, he's got to run. He's just got to keep running. So we got that. And then we were sat at a tram stop waiting. And this guy came up and barked at us in very... angry Hungarian, and I have nothing to say because I've no idea whether he'll know what I'm saying or not. It's not like I have a kind of stock phrase of, oh, sorry, we don't speak that. So I've just resigned myself to the classic British. I just stared blankly back in a slightly kind of pleading way. And he looked at us, he went, no tram service.
Wow. Like it's your fault, though.
Yeah, exactly. And like we still weren't allowed to sit at the tram stop.
No,
even if we weren't waiting for
marathon checkpoints.
Yeah,
it's where Eddie gets his tyres changed.
So it was like, no tram service. So we went, oh, okay.
You make him sound quite proud of the fact, actually.
Yeah, he did seem it.
Yeah,
he seemed in that kind of way that traffic wardens are kind of like, oh, sorry, but rules are rules.
Yeah,
got nothing I can do. My hands are tied. Yeah, literally drooling all over the ticket he's about to hand you. So we were like, resigned ourselves to the 40-minute walk down the river to it. And as we were walking down, past us goes the tram. A tram service of which there was no.
You got played.
So we eventually got on one filled with Girl Scouts, sadly. We went all the way out on our first full day here to a place called Memento Park.
Wow.
Which is miles away, and it's where they've put all of the old Soviet statues.
Oh, okay.
They basically, in the 90s, I think it was, maybe, they went, well, we can't have these around the city anymore, even though they're all pretty great, actually.
Get with the times, they thought.
Yeah, and so they went, what we'll do is, we'll take them all out and shove them in a park in the middle of nowhere where no one can go. Where there's one really expensive bus that goes every day, or else you have to take a tram and a bus and a train and a tube and whatnot. So we went all the way out there, and we were quite frightened at first because when we got there was a policeman.
All the statues are alive.
And they were just kicking people to death.
Wow. Like that Battle of Hogwarts scene.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
So there was a policeman kind of directing traffic, and it was just directing hundreds of cars, it seems, out of what looked like the car park for this place that we were going to. And then there were other policemen directing traffic in the road away from it. And we wondered whether we were going to get arrested. It was so odd because when we got in there, we walked past the police and they didn't stop us or anything. But when we got in there, we were the only people there. Genuinely the only people. It was deathly silent. I was joking at the time that it felt like they'd called in an airstrike. We were going to be the last suckers still there, blown
dying
to
in
bits.
A place called Memento Park.
Yeah.
Everyone would just laugh at you forever.
Yeah.
Like Guy Pearce, he'd be pissing himself.
So it was a really odd atmosphere, but it was really nice, and there were some really beautiful kind of statues and stuff there. But there was a small hut in which they had an exhibition about the park. And then, for reasons I don't quite understand, they just had a film playing on a loop, as they often do in these places, called The Life of a Spy.
Okay.
And it was
in this random park hut.
Yeah. And basically it was a Soviet documentary film about all of the spying activities of the secret police.
Yeah.
And how they did it all and what they did and whatnot. And it was absolutely hilarious because, they were talking about some quite horrific invasions of privacy and, lack of human rights in a kind of same way that you might see those old kind of American instructional videos about how to get the bus or something. They're like
Gee, mister.
Yeah, as in genuinely, there was a hilarious shot when they were talking about one of the ways that they get people's keys and details.
Yeah,
was they call people in like in random batches for medical checkups, where you'd have to leave your clothes in the locker room. This
ploy.
And then they would, while you're having your checkup, they get your keys out, stamp them.
The spy sneaks out of the hut.
But there was these kind of 12 men lined up in their pants waiting to be kind of scanned by the nurse.
Yep.
And the subtitles come up saying, the investigator looks in to make sure that the target is still in line. And at the back of this sort of line of 12 men, a door opened and a mustachioed guy in a doctor's coat stuck his head round the door and looked out. And then the camera genuinely zoomed in on his face, like
That's
really
great,
guiltily.
Like a tight zoom.
It was genuinely so.
And then did he walk away with the sound of like a xylophone?
It was more of a voodoo.
That's great.
So, and then just showing how they put stuff in your shoes or in between the folds in the radiator.
Oh, come off it, guys. Don't be doing that.
There was a reconstruction of using a bag camera.
Uh-huh.
So, like a big handbag, and it's got a kind of jewel on the button, and hidden in that is a camera, filming constantly. And you've got to place the bag. All movements of the bag must be deliberate, and no one should be suspicious of the bag or the people
Sounds like
holding
you're in
it.
a training session rather than a history.
Well, yeah, it was. That was kind of how this was presented. But then they had a reconstruction, so they had footage in a kind of circular frame, as if it had been filmed, really grainy from a bag camera, and then voiceover of an agent or the two agents talking, one back at HQ as it seems, or one there with the bag. And he's like, yep, they're just kind of looking, they're just talking. Not much going on. I think they're ordering some drinks. And then suddenly the frame kind of goes, whoop, and he goes, fuck. He's like, what? He's like, no, the bag just fell over. And you're like watching it sideways. And then him like cumbersomely standing the bag back up again. And they had another reconstruction of a guy kind of spying on a family having dinner, kind of through the window, talking again to someone at HQ. And he's like, all seems kind of reasonably normal. And the guy goes, what about, what you can see? Anything new? And he's like, not sure. Maybe. And the guy at HQ goes, what about, you said there was some ceramics on the wall. What about those? And he goes, oh, actually, yeah, I think there might be another one in there. And the guy at HQ goes, right, well, we'll have a look at that next time we're in. And then there was a pause. And then as something of a non sequitur, he was like, the filthy traitor. Wow. You're like, wow. And he's like, yeah, we'll get him. Like, wow, who
These
knew
people
that
don't sound very professional.
Owning ceramics was just another thing that they couldn't have in Hungary in the 60s. It was just so odd.
Decadent.
I'd have loved to have just stayed and watched the whole film, but I had no idea again.
You're like a spy by the end of it.
Yeah, I think you get like a badge.
There are actually like 30 other people in the shed that are just really stealthy, and they all just meld out of the walls and applaud you.
not cartoon ninjas.
Look, they're basically the same things as far as I know.
But you never know with these things, do you? Like how
Well,
long they're going to be? No,
that's true.
Educational films.
I like to wait for the loop to start again. At
I
least.
do like
it fills me with accomplishment.
But what I knew was that we'd been in there for about 20 minutes.
And you're still on the ceramics.
And at the end of that ceramics bit, it was like part 2. And I thought, oh,
Wow.
I've got a feeling there's about 10 parts.
Yeah,
to
no
this
one's ever
bad
sat
boy.
through the whole thing. That's why there's so few spies in Hungary these days.
Exactly. And that's why the country's gone to
The big
dogs.
alt-right spy shortage.
Yeah.
That's what brings it about.
Other than that, it's been really nice.
How are
The
you gonna
bars
rate it
were
out of 10?
Oh, the holiday.
Less the holiday, more the place, because obviously listeners can't go and have your holiday, can they?
No.
So we have to think broadly about what's useful for them, and they've tuned in expecting travel content. So let's give them a fair and objective metric.
I'd give the place a solid 8 out of 10.
Oh, that puts it firmly into the Scream or Glean categories.
Yeah,
so
whichever.
That's really good.
It
That's
puts
a
it into
very,
both.
very good score.
We're screening about how much we've gleaned.
That's great. From that shed alone, it sounds like you gleaned a lifetime of
so
espionage skills.
I'm, in line for that.
You're gonna
If this
be so
podcast
angry.
falls apart, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
Wait
an
till you
absolute
see the
spy.
ceramic I've collected in your
Oh
episodes.
my
It's gonna
god! I'm going to
pan
report
to
you.
dust.
You fucking filthy
Pan the
traitor!
hoof jelly. We've just had in the last 2 minutes a live email.
Yes,
come into
I
the
saw
show.
This
It's just appeared for me as a notification.
as a kind of gift from the content gods.
It's very nice, isn't it? It's called Many Moons ... and it's from the podcast Pangolin.
It has indeed been many moons.
Well, I assume that will be what it's alluding to, or he, or they, or whatever we refer to the pangolin as.
I'm assuming from the vessel.
The vessel. True,
Yeah.
true enough. Well, let's catch straight up and see
Go on, then.
what's going on.
You have a read.
Greetings, fellow travellers. I bring news from the podcast Pangolin ... Quote. This is all quote now from the pangolin. Should I do a voice for the pangolin? What do we think?
I think that to do a voice for the pangolin would be to offend it so
It has
greatly.
been many moons. Like
That's thoroughly offensive.
so sorry, pangolin. That was me workshopping, and we can't have a go.
There are
at the
no bad
rehearsal
ideas in
process.
brainstorming.
Exactly. Come on.
But that was shit.
It has been many moons since I last spoke to you. I have travelled many roads. I have walked many miles with my trademark pangolin shuffle that many pangolins have adopted after seeing me shuffle before them. And now I come to you. Delightful podcast babies. I forgot it calls us podcast babies. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
It feels a bit condescending, but then again, I get the
Cherished.
feeling this pangolin is some kind of deity. So
least.
if you're not talking down to us, who are you talking down
guess.
to?
I clutch you to my scales like a small pangolin baby, so proud, so happy to see you have grown from the small podcast earthworm you were into the great big podcast stag beetle you are today.
Wow, who knew
It's not
that's
looking
how
at our
that worked?
downloads. What? Do you go from pangolin to stag beetle?
So you go
Oh, no,
from
earthworm to
worm,
stag beetle.
worm to beetle.
Well, that's
to
evolution, isn't
potentially
it? That's
pangolin.
what Darwin said in that book on the origin of
the
stag
origin of
beetles.
worms.
I am proud and will lick you gently with my long tongue made for eating termites out of their homes.
That
Thanks.
feels good.
I think you have to. That goes through Declan because I'm more of the behind the scenes operator. Like I handle the infrastructure. So any licking that
What
will
it is,
be.
I'll pass it on to him.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
It's
because we wouldn't.
The way our
want,
contract works is that I do stuff like I manage the editing. You manage if there's any animals,
there's
animal
any-
gods that want to lick or pass any fluid. Really, that goes.
am I in
through
charge
you.
of all licking?
Yeah, all
duties?
the fluids.
All right. Well, I'd hate for you to miss out on a particularly good one, so I'll let you know.
it's fine,
We'll play it by ear. We'll play it by ear.
Now I ask you this: where do you go from here? Do you become like a podcast snake slithering everywhere on your delightful belly, or a podcast squirrel scampering up the tree of podcast life, eating a variety of nuts left by old women (brackets or men) for birds? Question mark. Answer carefully. The future is in your hands, not mine. It would fall through my claws too easily. Here ends the quote. Once again, I take no responsibility for any words of the podcast Pangolin, being only his vessel and part-time typist for his poor poetry.
Wow,
the
bit of
vessel
sass
said
from
there.
the vessel.
I think the vessel is overplaying his hand a little
Getting
bit there.
too big for its boots, maybe,
So-
the vessel.
The pangolins posed an interesting threat with the whole licking angle, but also question, and I guess it's incumbent on us to provide some sort of answer.
Well, it's hard because not only have we never really had anything approaching a coherent vision for what we wanted the podcast to be in terms of a podcast,
Yeah.
I am really at a loss as to how we would then translate whatever that happened to be into animal form.
Yes, that translation does pose a separate challenge. You're right.
So I suppose that what this question asks for is if you had to sum up the feel of the show as any kind of animal.
But also, it's
your
not just the
instinct?
feel, is it? It's the aspiration. It's like what
That's
animal we
part
wanna
of it,
be.
though. That's part of it. What do you think? What's your instinct?
I
What's your gut
think
telling you?
I'm just going straight into my memory palace where I keep all the different animals in that big cage, and it's honey badger. It really is. That's
Wow.
it's stoic. It's let's not beat around the bush. Very violent indeed. It's a take no prisoner show and a take no prisoner animal. They can turn in their own skin.
Yes.
They can turn.
Yes. No.
their
No.
own skin.
You needn't repeat.
A honey badger, if bitten, has enough loose flesh that it can turn and it will bite right back. They fight lions, they fight dragons, they fight everything that comes near them.
It's interesting. I was going to say the Komodo dragon.
You see us as a Komodo dragon.
Yeah.
We're doing different shows, clearly.
Kind
I
of-
think
well,
your head's
no.
somewhere else.
Mythic.
Well, that's not true because they're not mythic. Because I saw one in like a shop in
But
Basingstoke.
they have a kind of mythic
It wasn't Basingstoke.
aura to
actually.
them. It
I
probably
suppose.
wasn't, no. Revered, dangerous again.
Are they?
Yeah, but
Really?
Are you kidding?
What do they do? I've never
eat
seen one
people.
move. No.
They do.
Are you joking right now? A Komodo
not.
dragon eats people.
They can eat people. Yeah,
Everyone can eat people. It's about do they habitually.
they ate that great big in Skyfall.
Stop. They did as well. I
Yeah.
thought that was dramatic license.
No,
I didn't know that
that's
was a
what they do,
documentary
yeah.
moment. Well, fair enough. Okay. So you're saying we're a kind of cannibalistic deity figure.
Yeah, that's us.
I suppose if we could take the elements of both animals and smash them into each other, LHC...
Honey dragon, like the
that's
soup
great.
dragon, but better.
Instead of fire, it breathes a warm bee goo. It's burning hot bee goo.
You are not allowed to have a go at me for reading the phrase arse piss and then just the next week go spattering on about bee goo.
Mine's
Like
like,
it's
based
no
in
sort of
science,
crime.
though. That's a real thing. That
Based
bees
in
do.
science. Bee goo. TM. Based in science.
It's going to be the next big superfood fad.
Imagine if that's how they originally tried to market honey. Honey. Based in science.
I love the idea of like a modern honey take being called bee goo, but it's about like BEGU to appeal
Yeah.
to like the Tumblr, like Flickr, cool demographic that we inhabit ourselves.
Issue.
Issue.
No inhabit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, thanks, Podcast Pangolin, for that thought-provoking series of points and
real
questions and
crimes.
And of course, the tongue threat is looming ever present. But that's fine,
Yeah.
Nothing without a little danger, I suppose, is why we got into podcasting.
Yeah, that's us. We live on the edge.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we've come up to 40 minutes, and I've got nothing to talk about today at all. So I feel like we should
That's
just...
a nice admission.
Yeah, well,
bit
all
of
that's
honesty
happened for the
there.
last few days is I've been just writing this script. Just
yeah.
sitting in my room. It's been quite enjoyable, actually. I've been enjoying the kind of self-centered lifestyle that it affords, and how that differs from my usual altruistic outlook.
Whilst I was writing a bit earlier, I ended up kind of writing sentences that then, on reflection, seemed very much to reflect some of the stances that we take in real life, which was quite interesting. It was art imitating life rather than the other way round. I'll see if I can find the the particular quote in question. You'll probably disagree, as often you do.
Jury's out.
Here we go. There were two. Silence. Declan stares in disbelief whilst Isaac stands in self-righteous defiance.
That doesn't sound like me, no.
That definitely does.
I'll have to reach pretty deep for that acting.
And then here's another one that I quite like. Isaac is clearly getting swept up in his own speech, and Declan knows it, but they both go along with it nonetheless.
Wow, really, really a character assassination from what I can tell.
No, not assassination so much as
Report.
we're just poking fun. A bit of What?
What?
Did you just yell report?
Yeah, I didn't yell it. I just said it.
As in
Sometimes I just
character, as in character report.
Yeah.
I thought you were like pressing a big report button on me.
Yeah, I have.
Report. I'm done. I'm done.
Sorry,
with
I
this.
didn't mean to say that out loud. I meant to just click the button that cancels the iTunes submission for the show, based on you taking a joke too far and bringing real life Isaac into this.
Isaac attempting to invoke his lead tenant privileges. 6 months.
Don't
It's finally been
fucking
enough.
push me, okay? I'm this close to pulling the plug on the whole thing.
God, how funny is that? Isn't that in 8 days?
What, our 6-month
Yeah.
flat-anniversary?
Yeah.
We should
But
have a
also-
party.
Also, a moment at which the landlord could just terminate the whole contract.
Fuck, I forgot about
and throw
that.
us into the bin.
Yeah. That's a good moment, isn't it? Where they're like, oh, your contract's for a year, but P.S. after 6 months, anything could happen.
Because it's
all
interesting
up for
that
grabs.
we kind of asked for it, as it were, because we thought,
Can't ever
just in
afford to,
case it, does all go tits up.
Yeah.
But then, tutoring turned out to be such a great scam
Racket.
that it's all fine.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well.
So now it would be just our luck that he goes, sorry.
Hey, guys.
He and the missus are back together.
Oh, God.
They want
Well,
that
at least-
scrabbled board back.
At least if that was why, though, we'd have a clear goal to rehousing ourselves, which would be to break up their marriage, which, let's be honest, can't be
feels
hard.
like it.
I think all we'd have to do is show them the things that they left in the flat together, and they'd be so mortified at having been part of a couple that ever bought
That's
a
why-
Scrabble board with their own names on it.
That's why he's given it all to us.
Yeah, very, very generous. Look, let's get out of here before the pangolin does anything else with its big long tongue.
Okay.
Wet and wiggly, though I'm certain it is. Tell people about how they can get in touch with you while I have a
Guys.
quick eye nap.
Guys, if you've a pangolin-esque email to send, then
Or
do
not
send
that.
it through. Or any other. Yeah?
I'd like to receive more attachments to our emails, okay?
What do you mean?
I don't know, I just think let's spice it up. Text, it's not everything, is it? It's good, but there's more that we can do.
You want images?
Images,
Like
GIFs.
when Mark sent us that taxidermied
Oh,
rat.
that was great. That was very good, super comp material.
And that script from Noah that we've still got to do.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we'll get onto that one day.
Yeah, so if you've got, like I say, a pangolin-esque email, a non-pangolin-esque email,
Yeah.
if you've got attachments, if you've got no text, just attachments,
Just a subject line.
then send it through to TAS, T-A-S, at shame.city.
Good.
You can also find your way into the exact same inbox, and we think no less of those that use this method.
I'll honestly say I think more of them.
Well, yeah, actually, I think you might be right.
Yeah.
But also, at the same time, so as not to offend any of our super cons,
Yep.
not.
Oh, yeah, not as well.
Yeah, so shame.city/contact.
Oh, clever.
When you type in that shame.city/, there's loads of stuff you could put after that.
there's
Take you to
too
all sorts of
much.
different places.
Some of them are secrets that even you don't know about.
Yep, I'm certain of it.
Yeah.
But one of the ones that I do know about is review or reviews. And if you click on those bad boys, type that into the old URL, and it'll take you straight to the iTunes platform, whereon you can give us our requisite
Report.
5 stars. Too much talk of bee goo.
It doesn't sound good when you say it. I think it sounded fine when I said it, and then you corrupted it.
And therein lies the entire problem of your whole outlook.
Problem? Power?
I think that's what Hitler said. My problem.
Problem or power?
Power. Solution. Yes, so if you don't want to report us for Bigu, and you would, in fact, rather give us a 5-star review, then we would be extremely grateful. It would give us a chance to read them out when we finally get another one in.
Because
probably
otherwise,
8 months'
you
time.
better believe that first of the month I'm reading that one that we had. I can't remember the person's name, but it was glowing. I think they called us erudite.
They did.
So
She did.
It will be popping back onto the show every month until someone else takes the place.
And each time it'll be amped up. Isaac will be doing voices.
Oh God, I'm gonna act it out.
We're gonna turn it. We're gonna improvise it into a full-length play.
Going to be on at Edinburgh for literal years. Not even at the festival.
We're gonna absolutely boot the fucking Lion King out of the Lyceum.
Off
They've
you
had
go.
their time.
See you, Rafiks. That's what I call
See them
Rafiki.
trundling down the road in their costumes. You can also find us on Twitter at That's a Shamecast for the show.
Want
We'll
to
be
see
sharing
some
a big
shit on a
picture
rim.
of shit. Hashtag shit on a rim.
It's a Dr. Seuss that never was.
Then that'll be there.
Yes.
You can find Isaac at IsaacBD with the little B emoji. I'm beginning to think that you're being sponsored.
Well, the honey lobby is as sweet as it is syrupy.
I also can't help but feel that if they hear this episode, your contract is everything but cancelled.
Oh, that'd be such a shame. And when they cancel it, they don't just rip it up. They send all what they call their workers, but we know as the bees, to come and sting you into God's tear box.
Exactly.
Oh.
God, imagine God's tears and bee goo.
I know, that would be a
That's the name of
fucking
your
cocktail for the ages.
I dare you now to call your autobiography
God's Tears and Bee Goo. God's Tears and Bee Goo. It sounds like a mad person describing what it was like to work on Wall Street in the 80s.
Yeah. Or
everyone's like, God, do you remember the cocaine? And they're like, yeah, all the God's tears and bee goo.
It sounds to me also a bit like if you just mash the kind of pairs of words together, it sounds like a weird CBBC show or maybe a CBeebies, you know.
Well, they're a partnership.
Welcome, it's God's Tears and Bee Goo.
Where's Bee Goo today? That's right, playing in the hive. Every week.
God's Tears rips open the planetary alignment and waves hello.
Oh, yeah, okay, we will make that show.
Okay, that's done.
If you want to stop us, tweet at Cynical Declan.
Give us a 5-star review.
Yeah, only way holding you hostage with the Bee Goo, as nature intended. And of course, no, actually, we've got Patreon as well, .com/ShameCity. I can't be bothered to say anything more about that, although, of course, we do appreciate everyone's support on there.
Wow. Isaac approaching the task with his trademark mixture of grace and apathy.
I am very grateful for everyone that's on there. I'm just not in the mood to pitch it today. That's all right. I'm being honest with the listeners because I respect you all, mostly. Look, word of mouth. It's the best in mouth. I can still confirm that. And there aren't many constants in this world. There aren't many asteroids that you can cling onto and really loop your noose around as we fire across this workaday universe towards heat death. But that is perhaps the only one worth bothering with.
And also, if you could confirm whether or not what Isaac just said is true or horse shit.
Yeah, let us know how the Womibomb went for you. If you've Womibombed.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah. Or if Isaac's talking absolute bee goo about it.
Doesn't
also
seem
let us
likely,
know.
gang. Wow. It would take so many different testimonies to provide even the slightest wound to my angle. So let's not worry about that for now. Until episode 77, when you and I will be returned to proximity.
And let's not forget, episode 77.
What?
Is the anniversary episode.
Oh, fuck. Good job.
1 year of That's a Shame.
You went to Budapest to kind of prepare for that, I suppose, did you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've been locked away, thinking of cultural things to do. Because it won't just be, I just want to put this out there on behalf of the listeners. It's not just going to be another bullshit quiz or anything, is it?
No.
No, good. That's good. And we're not going to read any aggressive fan fiction.
No, nothing like that. There'll be no poems, nothing
show
cheap and easy. Yeah,
Okay.
basically. Yeah.
I think we can get a whole hour out of Bigu, so that's probably the angle we'll be taking. Until then, dear listeners, pangolin firmly included, I've been Isaac, you've been...
I've been Declan.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Necessity